Hello, it's Krista here with you again today. And today I want to talk more about narcissism and cluster B dynamics. And today I would kind of like to delve into something I've been witnessing myself and working through and learning about as we speak. I think I'm going to be learning about this for a while. I might just touch on it today and just some issues that I've been having. As you all know that I'm still learning and growing in the process and coming out and recovering from doing the narcissistic abuse recovery from family, friends, and relationships myself, and also coming out doing addiction recovery as well. So, today I guess maybe I'll talk about dating a little bit and my experience with that. As you all know, I'm very blunt and honest when I talk here, and I just start talking about how it is and my own life experience. Lately, I've been dating this fellow, what's funny is that a lot of times, as you might have grown up in a more dysfunctional home or narcissistic cluster B type environment, where maybe your mother was a narcissist, or your father was, or your caretaker, or maybe they were very manipulative and controlling, and you're not sure what to make sense of it. And when you grow up, it's hard to make sense out of life, and how sometimes when you're still involved in these types of relationships, even how small, like maybe you've limited your contact to just a little bit, to medium, to you're still in full contact with these people every single day. It is really important to be aware of, and even as you do start dating again and you're still learning, I know that I have kind of kept in with myself for a while again after this last relationship just almost killed me. Everything just went into capuzzo, and my life and my family relationships and everything just went on just this crazy level where I was left to, and I'm still doing the recovery of the trauma from that. But all in all, as you're doing this, you're learning self-love techniques and all that. Sometimes you need to check yourself. And a way that I like to do that, and I keep, instead of isolating yourself and doing the recovery work like that, where you're not getting out, it's really important to keep getting out. And I'm going to tell you right now, the way that I check myself is, like how far I've come with narcissism. Sometimes I'm not sure how far I've come. And, but sometimes I get a wake-up call when I start to date again, and or if it, maybe I'm doing like sequential dates with different people. Like, this week I might go out with this person, and then maybe next month I might go out with a different person. And when you're dating, it's hard work dating anyways, because you have to get out there and you have to just start a new relationship with somebody and start talking about yourself and all about yourself again and learning about this new person. But what's really interesting is that the harder that you work on it, the more inept you're going to be at spotting narcissism for what it is. Really, I have to say that I really am not having much luck yet, but that cues to me that obviously I still have not done enough work on myself yet, and I'm still learning things about it. What I've run into this time, the few times before that I've dated after that last bad relationship, I've actually subsequently went out with these people that were abusing alcohol or drugs. It was kind of a coincidence like that. And really, all in all, what it ended up was that, of course, I didn't want anything to do with that, and just me looking at it and them as they were on like methamphetamine, doing it secretly, and their marriages were ending. I ran into two guys like that. That during the course of our date, they told me that they were on that drug. That was really a flip out, because on the outside they looked like, you know, they had really good jobs and they dressed really nice and their families were really nice, but they had this hidden problem. And then, of course, you know, and then I've run into the alcoholics too, where you usually notice right away with any scenarios where there's substance abuse being done, which can look is extremely similar to narcissistic people that are more extremely manipulative and controlling. In fact, there's just so much to say on the subject. I don't know if I'll really get to what I wanted to talk about. But to try to keep it short, so my video will go on here. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. I'm trying to get like bronchial stuff, and it makes me tired. And also, I just dealt with another man that really wore me out, because obviously his tricks in the bag were to, even though since I've been staying away from the drink more, you know, I haven't been going into bars anymore these days, and really I've really stayed just like a zero clean on every single aspect of even stepping into bars just once in a while, just for one drink, you know. I don't even do that anymore, not even once in a while. I have not set foot in a bar for a few months, and that has been like really just like, I feel like on top of the mountain right now, honestly, with that. And what's neat about that is when you're on that state of zero, where you're no longer doing anything at all, and you're sitting on top of that mountain, and it feels good, you know, and your life is like good like that, and you're balancing, and you're more in control and stable when it comes to, you know, recovering in that substance abuse area. Even my TV watching is more limited than it's ever been. You know, maybe I might turn on a movie in every like couple days or something and watch it, but most of the time the TV stays off, and I do more work and just, you know, spending more quality time with my kids and so forth. Just balancing everything, you know. But in the areas that you struggle with more, it's hard to balance everything just so. Okay, sorry about that. My timer went off. My potatoes were done, so I had to get them. Okay, still talking kind of about addiction recovery here. When you do start making a habit of balancing that more, and you start focusing on the right things in your life and the right areas like health and so forth, you know, you can have a more clearer vision and keep a clear vision on what you want and what you don't want. Okay? So, but when you've been conditioned in an area where maybe you grew up in a home and were taught like how to be underneath other people and be more inferior, and a lot of things were cut off from us, like emotional, really what I wanted to delve into today with the other subject was emotional abuse. That's kind of what I'm studying on right now. I find that often I will start learning things at a certain time when I need them, because you can't all learn it at once, you know, it is a process. But often coincidences will come into my life where it might show me where I need to learn, and then I do learning on that, and then I can go forward in my learning, you know, and they're just more like steps of learning and recovery. So, you know, I've done a video on gaslighting before, and other tactics that they use, and I want to say that even though I believe that I am bringing, since my more of a sobriety stable level, I'm beginning to bring in, like, this last guy that I'm dating, what is in drug alcohol classes, because he was an alcoholic. His favorite thing was vodka, and very bipolar 1, which is the worst kind of bipolar, where at least usually the other kinds of bipolar, like 2 and regular bipolar, are not so extreme, where they will still be able to have emotions and things. But I was reading that bipolar 1 is the most extreme, and they usually have, like, the worst problems with coping devices, like I don't know, all of them, you know, overworking, gambling, drug use, alcohol abuse, and whatever, you know, they can get their hands on, a lot like narcissists do. Where, of course, they're lacking that love and able to give and receive love. But they, you know, are just like, oh, my mind just went on this mode. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to keep focusing here. But where the main thing that I wanted to say on that was, there is no real emotional connection, especially with a bipolar 1. And as I learned all this about him as I was meeting him, you know, we had different interests that we enjoyed talking about together. Like, we're both kind of more art history type of people. Maybe a little bit more peaceful, although I'm still learning what peaceful is and what peaceful is not, just like what is and what love is not. As you are a codependent coming out of these manipulative types of families, you really start learning what night and day is about, what is real and what is not, when it comes to the truth of feelings, love, and self-love, and just, you know, all these factors where you were so closed off before because you were not allowed to give to yourself and only to these very selfish other people, where their only modes were they were not able to connect with you on any kind of a level, really, you know. And what's amazing is I still find myself in these types of relationships even when I attract them and go looking for them, like this last one, where even though, you know, we would go out on a date, when it would come to real intimacy, there was just not real any kind of a connection there. It was just kind of like a using of one another, and then it was over. And coming to grips with it is still always amazing to me, to see that how far away from any real type of love that I still am. But as I am learning, I find that the partners I pick are not willing to learn that. And that is okay, because I don't have to try to fix them anymore or change them or help them. You know, I don't have to be something I'm not. I do not have to jump through hoops anymore. I do not have to please them to make them happy and run until I'm exhausted and sick. I think that's really important for us to learn right here. that we can start spotting out these red flags in people, even as we move on and do start dating again and start doing things again and starting to find joy in other things and meeting new people, whether it be friends, acquaintances, whatever. That we can find spending our time in different things and with others that are more like us, maybe that are doing that self-care and self-love for themselves and aren't these vicious, cyclic, manipulative people that use things such as emotional abuse. And this is a big one for me. Like, I'm really excited about it because I'm going to do a lot of research on this. I think this is the point I'm hitting on, that I really need to do a lot of healing and recovery. A lot of times in my videos, I talk about how there is a difference between abusive relationships where they can be downright mean to your face and tell you that you ain't worth shit, and you're ugly, you're fat, you're pathetic, and you can't do anything right, and you are way below them. Okay, like you are way below them. It's hard to come up from that when you do not understand what's going on. But when you do start to learn, even then, there's that is overt. Okay, what is more covert is a lot of time. What I'm learning here now is the emotional abuse, the emotional incest, and things like that go on where there can be so subtly done, and where everything seems normal and everybody acts normal, but there really is no level of connection there. And it just can put this whole and dreaded, even a sick feeling in your heart or your body or your gut. And also, I noticed this when I dealt with this last man, was that when we were intimate with each other, and when it was over, it was like, this has happened for the second time, that he there's no communication there either. But as I read some articles this morning, there are certain types of things that this person will do to manipulate you, and that is emotional abuse. Like, one of them is not talking to you, like ignoring you. When you're talking about things, they will just not even take an interest in what you're doing or your ideas on things or anything. They just don't join it. They just stay in this aloof state, where there's just nothing there. That can really hurt a person, and that is just to lower the person and get that control over that person, because it keeps you in a really low form of control, where you might step up, where the codependent might step up and start trying harder to keep that person's attention. But as that other one ignores, that's actually a form of psychological mind fuck, like emotional fucking clenching of the gut and the heart. I know that it actually made me feel sick this last time, just sick. And I had a hard time sleeping last night because, and as I try to stand up to it, sometimes it's hard when you're facing these people, because they will oftentimes gaslight you and say that they're never like that and they never do that. And they will sometimes go to great lengths to make you believe that they don't do that. And it can get really ridiculous. As you all probably have been there and done that. But it's hard for me to talk about, because instead of trying to talk to them about it and change their way of doing it, with the more extreme type, what I had to do was kind of confront it, but as they often deny it, you usually have to start talking to yourself in your mind, like, okay, obviously this person is not going to get that they are even doing this or whatever, even if they know or whatever, or don't know. Even, it can really take a lot. It can it feels like a piece is just ripped out of me right now, after being with this person for just a night. And, that's really what they do. They keep you in this twisted spot, and it confuses you. And what they're doing is trying to make you more submissive to their wants and needs, and their ways of doing things, and that you should keep it like this. When your life is up here, what's happening, it's going on. I mean, this is your life, and they're just trying to keep you down here where they can grip onto you, and every day is exactly the same, and pretty soon, as years go by, it's like a nightmare, a bad dream to wake up, and everything is still just at a really low vibration, and a negative feeling always there, and it can lead to more depression, suicide, and anxiety, PTSD, and places you just really don't want to be. So, I don't want to make this too long, but it can really crazy make. I know it makes me feel quite a bit crazy, but that's what they want you to believe, that something is wrong with you, so don't fall for it. Okay? So anyways, what I wanted to say is, you have to start thinking to yourself when you're trying to get away from these people, is that you do not have to be there. They do not have to be a part of your life. You can go on, you can make your own life, you can have your own home, you can have your own life. I'm not kidding about this. And you do not need to date people or have people in your life to hang around that make you feel like this or do these things to you. Okay? So they don't want to talk about your feelings. They don't want to do any of that. That's their attempt to bring you down and make you feel like you're a nothing and a nobody. So, yeah, I'm pretty gung-ho about this issue right now, and I hope to give more videos on this, maybe within the next couple of videos. So, just, you gotta think in your mind that, and if this person is constantly calling you or saying, hey, let's go out again, let's do this again, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend, or let's get married and all this, whatever, let's not let this marriage end or this friendship end. You have to cut them out of your life. You don't have to say it to their face. Maybe when you do start, when you move, or when you are not with them anymore, or simply write them a message and say, I don't think this is working out, and you don't have to date them anymore. You don't have to be around these narcissistic types anymore. And that's so important for us to learn today. Thanks for listening, and have a good one. Until next time.